Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to another Let's Play commentary with your host Wizbro100 along with...
Hitman again.
So, today we're going to be playing a game called Tharsis. And if you looked up what that word means, it's a term for volcanoes on Mars. And this game definitely involves Mars and going into space.
Well, I was mostly familiar with the term catharsis, which is like a purging of emotion. So I'm guessing a tharsis is just a purging of lava from the core of Mars.
Interesting way of looking at that, but yes. So, this game, it's about a mission to Mars, because that hasn't been done like hundreds of times. But it's a
Yeah,
setup,
well,
so
we'll
what are you
see
gonna
how
do?
we'll see how it
How it
does
plays
something
out?
interesting with this.
Well, I gotta say, it did do something interesting, because I actually bought it. Not by itself, though. I bought it from a Humble Bundle.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, the mission is to get to Mars, and the whole point is you have to survive your way to Mars. So this game is kind of like FTL, where you gotta make it to one point from one end of the universe to the other end of it, except minus all that stuff with the
Glad to
whole
see
fighting
all
space
these.
pirates off, space pirates
Glad
and
to see
such.
that all these guys are looking thoroughly confused.
These guys will be the characters that you can bring on your mission that will help make certain aspects of like the events that happen easier. So I decided to go through the tutorial here so that you guys get the idea of like how this game plays out and whatnot.
Yeah, compared to our FTL video, this one isn't quite as long, so
Oh yeah,
I'll-
definitely.
not sure how to interpret that one.
We'll just have to see. So that ship we see is uh okay, I was gonna say the ship was called Tharsis, but that didn't make any sense. But essentially, you gotta survive like 7 weeks to Mars. So you gotta keep your crew and the ship alive here, and this tutorial is telling us how and what to do. So every turn, there are these events that happen that'll cause certain things to occur. The red bar over there indicates that it'll do damage to the ship, based on whatever is going on, and you can see the effects underneath the numbers,
So you've got a system failure in the tank.
which just prevents the abilities in that one room. There are several rooms, or they call it something else, but a module. In every room slash module, that has certain effects that'll help the team out.
So this is like FTL, except you're fighting random mechanical failure instead of
And events in space,
pirates.
like meteors, showers, and such. But yes.
I'm not expecting any space pirates in a situation like this where getting to Mars is a difficult thing, but I
Yeah,
guess we'll see what happens.
we won't get pirates, but we will get a lot of dice rolling, and this kind of has, this game would make for a very fun board, or, I wouldn't say fun, but definitely a very interesting board game I would play.
Yeah, I don't really know. The randomized space simulator is not a genre I tend to go back to very often.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just like you go to this new place, choose an action, and then each action has just an option to like fail or succeed, and could possibly fuck you over no matter what you do.
Based on luck and not actual skill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, you know what, that's what I thought with this game too, because I was actually having like real difficulties beating this game on normal, then I dumbed down to easy, and I was still having difficulty with beating it. The whole point of this is the whole point of like, or let's see, the what's it called? The answer to surviving on this journey to Mars is not to rely on luck, and is to just work out a plan that would have everyone survive. Oh, that's not making any sense. I'm trying to think of...
It's possible to prepare for the bad things that happen, I'm guessing.
Yes, it's possible to survive certain events without having to rely on luck. It's based on managing and a few other aspects, which I only noticed that after I looked up like stuff on the game. And I was like, you don't have to rely on luck, and yes, while the game can sometimes cheat you on the luck, it's not necessary. Oh yeah, after every event, you get to this point where you can choose a side project that gives you some decisions on what you can do. So we can either get more food and have it do 1 damage to the hull for some reason.
Incline toward the second option right now.
And the second option gives 2 dice for 1 person and 10%
You're all
stress for them.
Stupid.
Yeah, it's you know what's even stupider? The stress they made, the stress bar in this game, where you know, when I first played this game, I thought stress was gonna be a big thing, like it'll cause negative attributes to your crew member because too much stress is bad, right?
Right.
But what I find out later on like through the course of playing this game, is that stress does not matter a lot at all. So whenever it gives you like an option where it's like, oh, I'll threaten to be more stressful in this situation, it's like, oh, well, I found out that it does nothing of real consequences. So just whenever it says like, oh, it'll give them more stress, just take the stressed option.
It's an interesting option. The game chooses to have actual dice on the screen showing you the chance outcome of what you've done instead of just calculating that stuff in the background like any other game would do.
Yeah, like a board game. And that's what that's why
the style here.
And that's why I kind of would like to see like a board game version of this. Like a cooperative.
Do you actually move spaces? Do you like move defined spaces on a board, or are you just watching yourself float?
You get, like I said, you get to move to different modules, and each module does something. Like, some of them will give you food for your crew member to eat to recover dices. You don't actually have to eat, is the thing I find just a little weird. Like, you survive a week without eating? Like, no way.
Can we see, like, an overall map of our progress, though? Because it just
yeah.
seems like we're...
Yeah, you do see, you do eventually... Oh, actually, no. You do see it, it's just that it's being covered up by where the event complete is hovering over.
Huh.
Okay, now basically there are like every week is a turn in the game, and every turn there's something bad that happens. There's never a turn where nothing bad happens. Oh yeah.
I actually thought what the hell? I actually thought that said Metroid proximity alert, which would have made this a much more interesting game.
Oh, this is the prequel to the Metroid games. Anyway, so the pantry exploded, which is the thing that kind of bothered me in this game, is because because now you never ever get to use that module ever again.
Oh, he got pierced by that laser beam.
Yes, the laser beam, right. And suddenly 4 new people appeared. I guess out of hypersleep.
Well, that sucks. You don't want people to show up as soon as your pantry explodes.
Yeah, they were probably all asleep. Now you see the thing on top of like where the deploy crew is. Underneath that is like how many weeks it takes to get to Mars. So that's your turn. So now there are things
we got 10 more weeks to go.
Yeah, so it wasn't 7 like I said. I lied. So this is a life support where it gives you more dices to roll, which is a good thing. You want your guys to have a lot of dices to roll so that your chances of succeeding are better.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad. Looks like you have enough to repair it.
Yep, I can repair it. And that blue thing you saw up there was a negative effect that that would have do something to the dice to make it not as useful. You'll see some later on. Now the thing I did with that number 6 dice to put into the right, each module has a thing you can do, and the captain was in the relaxation module. So putting that there causes. Oh wow! Look, that roll is amazing. I gotta say right here. In the relaxation bar, it reduced his stress. Now in the food pantry part, I got 3 1s, which you see that place where like you can put a dice. You see that like equation or the equal sign.
Right.
You have to have the exact same number to put another dice right there.
Oh, I see.
So
now you're gonna get 2.
And that doesn't work because it's not a 4. I needed a 4 in order to use to get the life support effect. So we take a hit right here. Oh, and after every turn, there's a little bit of story going on.
Yeah. So are these story bits always the same? Or
it's always the same. It's always the same,
okay.
Which is kind of a disappointment. Oh, decision.
Right.
What will I choose? Will I give us more health, or will I give 1 dice for all crew, but everyone loses some health?
I'd probably choose the health on this option, but
You can see the health on the bottom right for most of them.
Yeah,
I
these guys
decided to
got
take
low
the
health
hit.
already.
So next I will try to put them into... Wait, do I put them into the... Oh, the medical... The medical module is now in trouble.
Time to roll some dice.
Yep, time to roll some dices. Yes, I'm gonna fix this part.
Sequential shunt unit.
This is where
Oh,
you
that's not so good.
should provide voltage regulations. Oh, it's right
Looks
on
like
the
you
top.
got exactly enough.
Yes, I have just enough. And those negative effects right there, that orange one, if I rolled a 5, it would have damaged me, which is not good.
Oh, okay.
Blue ones will cause stasis where you can't roll your dice anymore, and the purple ones will remove your dice from the game, which is also bad. No, I didn't roll a.
Doesn't
I didn't
sound very fortunate.
I didn't roll a
At least you
6
didn't
here.
roll a 6, so.
Although she could have probably survived it.
Yeah. She.
Yeah.
Kayla. Oh, it's Kayla. I could barely see the name, and the face is like so blurry for me.
Oh yes, they're all wearing like. I didn't know they had colored spacesuits. I thought everyone wore the same thing.
It's a new innovation in space fashion.
Yes, indeed. So right here now. Well, I guess I didn't take him to the medical bay. Oh, you see right there the. Oh yeah, you
I
also.
can't roll anymore.
No, actually, if you look on top near the assist prevents up to 3 effects from happening if I have a assist
Yeah.
appearing. All right.
Oh,
So,
look at that. Got that event.
yep. And on the bottom left with the research project, it lets you it gives you special abilities that you can see on the bottom left of like
Time to roll some dice to get your health back.
yes. I got a 5, so now I can use health recover and get full health. And use the extra dice for the, or at least one of them for the research project.
Nifty.
Yes, that'll give you like certain abilities depending on what's available. And I can't put any more of that.
Oh, the snake eyes.
So I can get 3 foods right now, or have a module that repairs, or a thing that repairs 17 points of damage on the ship, like instantly without having to roll. More story.
Yeah, that crew's rolling dice like champions.
I apparently this ship is also a casino. -1 dice. You do not want that.
Yeah, this is like that vault in Fallout New Vegas,
Of course.
where everything's decided by gambling.
Sounds like a Two-Faces kind of thing where it's like a
Yeah, deciding everything by coin toss.
Coin toss. So you always want to have at least 4 dices in this game. Oh, there's a void area.
27.
Yeah,
That's rough.
that's gonna take a lot. And what it does is -1 health for all. So if I don't fix it, everyone would take 1 damage every single turn. And it looks like that the guy in the yellow spacesuit
Yep.
is probably gonna die if I don't fix it.
Yeah, not gonna go so well for him.
Just enough to fix it. I'm gonna roll again to see if I can put stuff into the research. Nope.
Yeah, if you use the 3 and the 1, you could have put the 4 in the research projects.
No, you can't. It has to be the exact like numbered dice. And I
No,
used
but
it.
you could use the 3 and the 4, or you could use the 3 and the 1 to solve the problem, and then use the 4 to on the research project.
Oh, you mean use the 17? Yeah, I guess you can. Didn't think about
All right,
that.
27. Can you do it?
It's gonna be tough, and if I roll a 1 or 3, that causes stasis. I hate the dices can
no.
actually roll onto each other and actually ruin it. Oh, the dice hold right there holds like your best dice, so you don't have to accidentally re-roll
Yeah.
certain dices, which I like.
Yeah, it doesn't look like you have enough.
And all the crew members except for a certain one can have more than wait, hang on. All crew members only can roll 2 dice. Can like re-roll their dices twice, except for the one in purple, who looks like Ripley from Aliens.
Yeah, well, I guess she's used to worse crises, so she can handle this.
It's just, whatever. Yeah, you've seen where she's faced aliens.
Like he's like a meteor. Pff, come on, I've seen worse.
All right, so finally
I've
I get
been in the
this.
trenches.
Finally, I get this guy over here. Oh yeah, the 5 arrow up means it has to be numbers 5 and higher in order to actually use the thing. Oh, he also has a special ability, this guy. If you
Repair
have...
the hull, yeah.
He can repair the hull if you have a dice roll that's 5 or higher, which is quite useful.
Sounds like it. So yeah, the hull is in the upper left corner, and I'm guessing if that ever goes down, you
Yes.
just die.
Yeah, you instantly die if the entire ship takes way too much damage.
Makes sense. I mean, you don't want to be floating out in space. You don't want to be using explosive decompression.
Like this guy. Or
This is one of those more strict takes on space travel, where
Yes,
you
the-
actually do die if you know, have a puncture wound in your ship.
Ah, and then there's the cannibalism where you can eat dead crew members.
Ooh.
Which
Has anyone died yet?
you remember in the tutorial one of them died?
Oh, okay. So
Yes, so they're eating
you use the
him.
meat from the dead guy.
And if you if you use cannibalism, you lose 1 health, but you do get like some dices back. Which honestly is you should do it. Because
Yeah.
oh yeah, it also gives your crew member higher stress, which like I said does nothing of like real consequences.
Yeah. So yeah, this isn't the Cowboy Bebop take on space where you can just sort of open up your spaceship's hatch and jump out, float around in space,
Nope.
be perfectly unharmed. Really wish more people took that stance on space. You just float around in it.
Ah, you see I used the research thing to instantly fix it. Now I'm going to take advantage of this to oh, look at that. All 5s. So now I get to fix the thing. Oh,
Look at that.
To maximum.
Maximum hull. Nice.
Yes. So got lucky there, definitely. Now the thing I learned while playing this game multiple times is that you don't have to fix everything in one turn. If like a crew member is like doing really badly, like they have low health or low dice rolls, you should get them to like the life support room to get more dice rolls, and to the health room to get more health so that they don't die.
Get your priorities straight.
Well, essentially.
You regain dice using a die.
In that one room, it was the life support room, and you regain dice for. Oh, you see the dice turn red because she cannibalized. Terrible person.
Oh, I see. I just guess she just likes to play with her food.
Once again, triple roll, so I got 2 foods here, which is quite lucky. But yeah,
Very lucky run.
if on the right side, you can see like the dice holes right there. They'll tell you what you get if you put your dices in there.
And I see the research project is just sort of a get out of jail free thing. You can spend points to get things.
Yes. Or you could spend points to re-roll it so that you can get something different. So decide to bring this guy here to lower his stress down, because even though I did say the stress doesn't really do anything, it does do one tiny thing where they get really illogical, and like during the choose a side event, you don't get really good options to pick from.
Yeah, spoilers. Oh, you mean the like every single time you have to choose between one or the other?
Yeah. They'll have something unreasonable, like, oh, if we don't do this, I'm gonna do this. Like there's
You're gonna have to choose between crew members. Is that what you're gonna have to do?
yeah. Like what we've been doing, but like if they have high stress, they'll do something like where they will kill themselves, and you obviously don't want that.
I think the minus 30% stress for all crew would have been better in that case.
Yeah,
It looks
it
like you've
is.
got hull to spare.
Oh, and you can also kill a crew member for
You can
food.
kill someone. Yeah.
But like food's not that important is another thing, and that's kind of what
Yeah, it doesn't
bothered me a
really-
little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't really sound like you're in that much stress right now for food anyway. Kind of
Nope.
pointless.
No, I'm not. Like the food does help. Don't get me wrong. It's just like it feels kind of a little. It feels a little weird for a person to not eat for like 2-3 weeks at a time.
Yeah, I don't know. If I'm gonna be cannibalized on a ship, it better be in a time of need. It better not be just because I felt like having some more garnish today.
Which in the case of this game, that's definitely the case.
Yeah, definitely not the most serious take on that. Compare this game to like that Sunless Sea,
Oh,
which is another sort of FTLS game.
I've heard of that game. Oh, you see what the stasis did right there? All those dices are paralyzed, and I
Yep,
can't roll them.
can't really,
It's
can't really get anything above 5 here.
yeah, it's those are really bad. And the stasis, I don't think they ever like go up to past 3, because it would be kind of awesome if the stasis would trigger if you rolled a 6. Because it's like the higher number. Of course, you want the higher numbers.
Yeah, but then it'll end up being not beneficial for you.
No, if it was just stasis. If it was the void, those are terrible because they eat your dice away and you can't re-roll them.
Huh.
Let's see if we can get some food here. Oh, look!
Can't really say this game's that exciting. Just seems like you roll a dice, or you roll some dice, and you
Hopefully you
go to the next
survive
place
the
and roll
event.
some more dice.
Oh yeah, so there's a little story going on where when they're approaching Mars, they're getting these weird signals from Mars, and they find that hey, are those guys us? And the ending is really lame, I gotta say.
Oh, so is it Moon?
Wait, Moon?
You ever see the movie Moon starring what was his name, Sam Rockwell?
Nope.
Oh, it's about a guy who was hired to do a 3-year mining expedition on the moon, and at the end of his 3 years, he's about to die. But then he realizes that he's actually a clone of somebody that did it before.
Oh, see, now that's a twist. No, it's nothing like that.
So actually, what they've been doing, instead of hiring new people to do the job, they've just kept cloning the guy that did the job before, and then just replicated all of the factors involved with him doing the job, so that they could just repeat the same 3 years again.
Oh wow. Well,
So there's no risk, and they don't have to pay anyone else to do it. It was an interesting movie because you've got two people that are
Oh man, look at that. Ouch.
two people that are thinking somebody else is the clone.
When in fact that they're also the clone themselves.
Yeah, they're both clones.
Oh, seems like I decided to go for another roll, and I end up hurting myself
again.
That was a really bad roll when I
That hurt.
got hit by all
I
three.
hate when you roll the dice and they just bounce off the ground and just come and smack you in the face. It's really annoying.
That's a funny way to interpret it. Oh, I rolled the dice too hard.
Yeah, the bloody dice. Do these dice ever lose the blood?
Nope. Because much like in Fallout, you've done a crime against humanity by eating somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit of a hammy way to illustrate that point.
I think it's an interesting detail. Like, oh, your dice have turned bloody.
It's kind of different because the guy died. It's not like you killed him for food. He just died, and now you're making use of the meat out in space.
I guess
not that unreasonable.
Well, I guess you rationalized it in your own way. Other people would have called you heartless for that or something like that. But hey, they got to do what they got to do to survive, and that's what I told them to do.
It's different. It's usually like you draw straws, and then whoever draws the shortest straw has to die, so the other guys can survive.
It reminds me of that one vault in Fallout where it's like if everyone was like whoever is elected the overseer is
killed,
just basically who's supposed to die, but when the answer is to not do that.
Yeah, it's not so much that as it is like there's a time of need, and it's either everyone dies or one person dies, so you choose to have one person die instead.
Tough choices.
Although yeah, in this case it's not quite as bad as I'm saying, because you're not actually killing the person yourself. Like they just died, and then you're making use of the meat.
Yeah, although you can actually do that where you kill people. Yeah,
it's true. I just don't know that it's necessarily that bad what they did, that they should be eternally reminded of it with these bloody dice.
Oh, once
I don't know why they put your dice in your pocket when you eat. Come on, you get the meat all over it.
Once you go red, you never go back. Even though it's supposed to be a different color, I know.
Yes, you don't.
Oh yeah, you do unlock somebody if you cannibalize. So there's also another reason to cannibalize.
You unlock somebody.
If you eat enough meat, you unlock cannibal as a character.
Huh.
And basically,
for like future playthroughs, you mean?
yes. If you ever want to play this game again, which I'm gonna say probably not, because once you beat it once, that's it. The higher difficulties just make it more difficult to go through the same story again. And I don't really enjoy that type of stuff. It's not really good replay value.
Yeah, it's if it's the same story every time. Like the good thing about these games is you can come up with cool stories about, like, you can sort of fill in the blanks yourself, and you can have that story about how in FTL, you know, you ran into like 3 slaver ships after another, and you just had to kill them all.
And like every time it was always the Mantis and the
Mantis and Engie at the same time. Yeah.
That's the story that happened there.
But here it's just, it's the same story. Not that particularly good of a story.
Trust me, like once you've seen it, it's really not that great. Like it's just kind of. I would consider it a big fuck you, but when we get to there, you decide whether the ending to this game is.
Ooh, I'm waiting.
Is what it is. I'm just gonna say, don't expect too much.
And rolling some dice. So I'm expecting a lot now.
Got one. Okay, can grab one food. That first dice that went into the container didn't count, but the second one gets you 1 piece of food.
Yeah, I can't use them for research projects, so that sucks.
Nope, because those are filled up unless I use a bit.
But you got some food?
Some extra food, which is good. So we're getting closer and closer. Oh, look, those people. Are they us? There's a magic rock.
Wish we could see them. I mean, I don't really know how you would determine from that they're us.
Well, they assume it's them because the suits they're wearing from the suits that were designed for this mission was only made just for them, and only they have it. But then they see video footage of some other people with the suit, so they assume it's them.
If this is some kind of like weird corporate conspiracy thing, they really messed up doing that. It's like, let's leave an obvious calling card for them to determine that something's up, so they might, turn the ship around.
Which by this point,
hey, I'm not doing this anymore.
Oh, two more trips there. I gotta say, how many accidents can you have happen during the week? Well, I guess considering that it's a week.
Exactly. Like, what on earth is this? Like, there's leaks everywhere. This entire spaceship is just put together with like
glue and duct tape.
Yeah. These are like those little connector blocks I used to play with as a kid.
Oh, and probably built with Legos too.
Yeah, I put the Legos in there. Legos stay together better than this.
Oh, that's true. And if you try stepping on them, it hurts.
Yeah, this game doesn't leave us much to talk about, does it?
I thought it
would. Go ahead and roll some dice, random chance, woohoo!
I'm surprised. Never did
I admire your talented gameplay. We're rolling them dice.
Strategically rolling them dice. I'm surprised.
Strategically rolling. It's a good point. We got to decide which ones to use.
Well, yeah, that is the whole point of the game. I guess this turned out to be one of those like videos that are, when you're playing it, it's not that bad, but when you try to talk
you're making
about
all the decisions, you're using it in your mind, but I don't know. Just describing all the stuff going on in your mind isn't necessarily that interesting to someone else.
This seems more like a video where it would have been better if it was played live.
Yeah.
I thought
if we're gonna do this one, we got to bring Punch Club back.
Oh God.
Reference to the record that you guys are probably never going to see.
Probably a good chance. Man, we had more to say in Punch Club than this.
Yeah, at least there were references in Punch Club. This is just
This is
Now
just
look, rolling around some bloody dice some more.
you know, it goes back to the whole board game thing. It's like watching someone play a board game. It's just like, well, this happens.
Yeah, unless you've got like some really wacky people playing the board game.
You mean drunk people?
Well, either way.
I never would I have
Honestly.
thought that FTL would have had better things to talk about than this.
Well, of course it does. I mean, there we're talking about, you know, like a Star Wars-esque universe where there's like pirates and rebels and like advanced technology and stuff like that. So here we're just like piloting the Apollo mission, which probably would have been even less exciting than this.
This was not thought out well, just like this trip to Mars.
You're just waiting for like
Stuff to happen.
months and months and months. Like
Oh,
doing
man.
exercises in zero gravity so your muscles don't atrophy.
Let's see. So 10 weeks. That's actually 2 months and roughly 2 months and like half a month, 2.5 months,
Yeah, running on close to a quarter of a year.
2.5. Oh yeah. That's right. So now we're almost close to Mars. I can just let all this bad event happen too. Oh yeah.
Well-
So you see the system fail thing right there on the
Yeah.
15. You can actually not bother with that, and that's actually a good strat because then it prevents like worse events from popping up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
Right now, just fixing more. Never needed to fix the hull at all. Oh look, just enough dices.
I think that this spaceship is actually purposely designed this way in order to give the crew something to do. Because, you know, they sent crews out in space. They sent crews out in space before, and they were all like, "Hey, man, we have
This is-
nothing to do.
This is
we
really
didn't bring
fucking
enough
boring.
books for this trip." But now they just got to give them like constant life or death like
Situations
struggles, but not so bad that
they can't survive it.
yeah. There's like a little bomb in the hull that's like just go set to go off at different times to like
Man,
they have to solve the problem.
that's terrible. Just give them some video games.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The same video game for like 2.5 months.
Well,
Maybe they can't spare the wattage
well,
on a
they
game console.
seriously. I mean, you can run this entire ship for like months on end. I'm sure they have solar panels or some shit like that.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But you're getting farther away from the sun. You get less and less solar energy.
That's true. Maybe there's some other way. I mean, they have self-sufficient food making, which I don't know how they fail each time in getting it. Apparently,
Yeah.
you have to roll dice to grow plants. So, all you gardeners out there, if your plant's not like growing, you're not rolling.
You just gotta roll some more dice. Oh, is it gonna be a 3? It's a 3.
It's a 3, and 3 people
we
are
did
not
it.
gonna starve.
We got one more. We got one more food that we probably didn't need in the first place.
Nope. They've almost made it. There's no turning back. How are you gonna get home then?
Who knows?
Apparently, this is a suicide mission.
Yeah, I guess our current rockets
It's a
aren't really
suicide
designed to
rocket.
ever- Yeah.
Okay, so here's that thing where if their stress is really high and they're all like, gonna do something that only benefits themselves and not like the whole
Yeah.
crew, which is just really
I don't
dumb.
see why you'd want to save the hull to give stress to the crew. So probably just minus some of the stress.
Well, and remember, like I said, stress means nothing. Like they don't go crazy to the point where they kill themselves. Exactly.
I was hoping they would like start sabotaging the ship themselves.
Oh, see
No,
that's
I bet that's it. This is just one trickster crew member doing all this.
and until
I bet
everyone.
it's you, Yuri Navalny. Or
So,
Yuri
so are you telling me that like when they're all alone, they're gonna sabotage the ship themselves so that they kill themselves
but-
and then be like, "Hey, it's the ship's fault."
Yeah, imagine it. Yuri is like, I'm gonna be the hero here. I'm gonna create these problems that no one else can solve, and then someone else solves it anyway, and he's just like, God damn it! It was my turn to be the hero. My turn to shine.
On this mission.
Yeah, it's just tragic. It didn't work out for him.
Right here, I was
You
like, "Oh,
could
let's
give +1 to the hull, but there's no problem with the hull.
exactly." So I could have actually gone through a whole bunch of turns where, like, if the hull was to take damage, I could have just let that slide.
Yeah, this kind of does illustrate why I don't like FTL all that much, because, I mean, what's the solution if you do badly at this? Like, or how will you succeed on higher levels? You just like, Just roll the dice better, I guess.
No, that's true. That's kind of like one of the reasons why it kind of like aggravated me, because it was just like, well, what was I supposed to do? The dice was like, fuck you. I'm not letting you win this. I'm gonna let your crew member die.
That's what I don't like about like all these random chance games. I'm never sure, when I finally do succeed after like the 1000th try, I'm never sure if it was me being good at the game that caused it, or if it was just me getting a really lucky run.
Yeah, that's kind of a thing with some. Oh yeah, on this last week, you had to have someone in the command post to like drive the ship, because apparently we've been driving without a driver. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, it's odd. You'd think autopilot on a spaceship wouldn't be all that hard.
Which FTL actually also had, but that was more for dodging missiles and such.
Yeah, that's not that hard. That's not that easy to do.
No,
I
it
want
isn't.
the pilot in that system for that.
Okay, so it's
Damage
finished. Are you ready
Call
to?
it the damage face.
So are you ready to see this ending that we've been playing for so long, or I've been playing so long to
I'm
see?
so ready.
So they're finally on Mars.
Trip to Mars. Why does everyone go to Mars? Why not Venus?
Isn't that closer to the sun where it's hotter?
Yeah, and Venus is also a very toxic atmosphere.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to Jupiter. Try to
How
collect
about
samples from the
how
surface of
about
Jupiter.
Uranus?
Something like that. Yeah, even there.
We traveled through the horror. Not sure if anyone made it. So the whole end of the story is that there's a magic rock on Mars.
There's a magic rock. Are you serious?
It's a magic rock on Mars, and everyone dies anyways.
It steals their soul.
Something like that. They just leave us there
Anomaly.
hanging.
The anomaly what?
It
Okay.
knew. About what?
Is that really it?
Yes. Amazing,
Oh
isn't it?
my god. So they were being beamed messages by the anomaly thing?
By the anomaly, and then I guess like it traveled through time, or sent the message through time that went back to the crew again. So they're like,
Why would so is the rock eating them? Is that the idea?
it's soul sucking them from what it looked like.
So then why on earth would it send them these messages warning them to stay away?
I think it was maybe it's not so much as a warning, but curiosity.
But they were already gonna go there. They don't need more curiosity.
That's true. Well, don't forget it was a suicide mission, so they couldn't have turned back anyways.
Did they call it a suicide mission?
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
that originally what it was supposed to be?
On like the second to last week, it's like this is such a suicide mission. But then again, I guess it always was a suicide mission.
Oh well. Darn.
Well,
Space corporations and their monoliths.
yeah. And also, this game was made in Unity, which I was like, ugh.
Yes. Not a very intriguing game.
Not a very intriguing game to talk about. Not a very intriguing story. Gameplay-wise, could get a few games out of it. Like I said, if this was like an actual board game, I might actually like it better than it being like in a video game format.
I feel kind of bad for you.
Yes, I did. Yes, you probably should.
I feel bad for you going to all the effort to get the right dice rolls on the right run, and then just to see that.
Several 20s of times, and after beating it,
Yeah,
I don't
and
feel like playing it anymore. Aside from maybe
it's
the
like,
missions.
oh, they all die anyway. Congratulations.
Yeah, so
You won.
So it's like I can't proceed with the game. So I can't proceed with the game if I die here, but if I die later, that's okay.
Yeah, that's victory for some reason. It's like those bosses they make you fight in video games that are really hard, and then at the end it's just like, oh, your character lost anyway.
Or
Just don't make me play the thing.
Or what about like in Call of Duty where it's like oh, your characters were supposed to die, but they died a little too early, so we're not counting that.
Yeah, that doesn't really make any sense. Like, there's no reason why you had to have
Died specifically.
why you had to have gotten farther, because it doesn't make any difference in the context of the story at all.
Like it's like nobody knows if like the crew members die. Earth doesn't go like, hello, is anyone still there?
Yeah, and you didn't even accomplish anything. Like, even if you were going to die anyway, if you had accomplished something, it would have been different. But no, that's...
At least for
You
the
didn't even do that.
audience. At least for the audience, it would have been something. But yeah, that was what you would consider a complete waste of time.
Well, I'm glad you've been talking to me about doing this for so long. I feel like
For quite a while.
I feel like a new man after having seen that ending.
Okay, but on another note, as a game, I was intrigued by it and I liked it. But after one game, that's just it. This is a one trick pony.
Well, that was
Tharsis.
something.
So next time are we gonna see something about guns?
Well, maybe.
Which, speaking of which, the next game I'll be doing is one that involves guns as well, or maybe it'll actually be an adventure game where we can actually talk about stuff.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
we'll
so
see.
see you all later, if this
Stay
video ever
tuned.
gets out. It's on luck and not actual skill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that's what I thought with this game too, because I was actually having like real difficulties beating this game on normal. Then I dumbed down to easy, and I was still having difficulty with beating it. The
Yeah.
whole point of this is the whole point of like, or let's see, the what's it called? The answer to surviving on this journey to Mars is not to rely on luck, and is to just work out a plan that would have everyone survive. Ah, that's not making any sense. I'm trying to think of...
It's possible to prepare for the bad things that happen, I'm guessing.
Yes, it's possible to survive certain events without having to rely on luck. It's based on managing and a few other aspects, which I only noticed that after I looked up like stuff on the game. And I was like, you don't have to rely on luck, and yes, while the game can sometimes cheat you on the luck, it's not necessary. Oh yeah, after every event, you get to this point where you can choose a side project that gives you some decisions on what you can do. So we can either get more food and have it do 1 damage to the hull for some
Incline
reason.
toward the second option right now.
And the second option gives 2 dice for 1 person and 10%
You're all
stress for them.
stupid.
Yeah, it's you know what's even stupider? The stress they made, the stress bar in this game, where when I first played this game, I thought stress was gonna be a big thing, like it'll cause negative attributes to your crew member, because too much stress is bad, right?
Right.
But what I find out later on through the course of playing this game, is that stress does not matter a lot at all. So whenever it gives you like an option where it's like, oh, I'll threaten to be more stressful in this situation, it's like, oh, well, I found out that it does nothing of real consequences. So just whenever it says like, oh, it'll give them more stress, just take the stressed option.
It's an interesting option. The game chooses to have actual dice on the screen showing you the chance.
Which just prevents the abilities in that one room. There are several rooms, or they call it something else, but a module. In every room / module, it has certain effects that'll help the team out.
So this is like FTL, except you're fighting random mechanical failure instead of
And events in space,
pirates.
like meteors, showers, and such. But yes.
I'm not expecting any space pirates in a situation like this, where getting to Mars is a difficult thing, but I
Yeah,
guess we'll see what happens.
we won't get pirates, but we will get a lot of dice rolling, and this kind of has this game would make for a very fun board, or I wouldn't say fun, but definitely a very interesting board game I would play.
Yeah, I don't really know. The randomized space simulator is not a genre I tend to go back to very often.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just like you go to this new place, choose an action, and then each action has just an option to like fail or succeed and could possibly fuck you over no matter what you do.
Base universe to the other end of it, except minus all that stuff. With the whole fighting space pirates.
Glad to see that all these guys are looking thoroughly confused.
These guys will be the characters that you can bring on your mission that will help make certain aspects of like the events that happen easier. So I decided to go through the tutorial here so that you guys get the idea of like how this game plays out and whatnot.
Yeah, compared to our FTL video, this one isn't quite as long, so...
Oh yeah, definitely.
Not sure how to interpret that one.
We'll just have to see. So that ship we see is... Okay, I was gonna say the ship was called Tharsis, but that didn't make any sense. But essentially, you gotta survive, like, 7 weeks to Mars. So you gotta keep your crew and the ship alive here, and this tutorial is telling us, how and what to do. So every turn, there are these events that happen that will cause certain things to occur. The red bar over there indicates that it'll do damage to the ship, based on whatever is going on, and you can see the effects underneath the numbers.
So you've got a system failure in the tank.
Okay, hello everybody, welcome back to another Let's Play commentary with your host Wiz&Hitman along with
Hitman again.
So, today we're going to be playing a game called Tharsis. And if you looked up what that word means, it's a term for volcanoes on Mars, and this game definitely involves Mars and going into space.
Well, I was mostly familiar with the term catharsis, which is like a purging of emotions. So I'm guessing a tharsis is just a purging of lava from the core of Mars.
Interesting way of looking at that, but yes. So this game, it's about a mission to Mars, because that hasn't been done like hundreds of times. But it's a setup, so what are you gonna do?
We'll see how it
plays out.
Interesting with this.
Well, I gotta say, it did do something interesting, because I actually bought it. Not by itself, though. I bought it from a Humble Bundle.
Alright.
Okay, so yeah, the mission is to get to Mars, and the whole point is you have to survive your way to Mars. So this game is kind of like FTL, where you gotta make it to one point from one end of the